What's up guys? Today we're taking a look at a travel router from ExpressVPN, and this is their latest Aircove Go. It's a Wi-Fi 6 dual band travel router with gigabit ports on the back, and this is an awesome product for anybody looking to get around geo restrictions when you're traveling, for anybody looking to mask their location. But let's be honest, it's really great for the hotel, motel, holiday inn, coffee shop situation because you just never know who is spying on your internet traffic. The Aircove Go is your security measure with those open networks, and it's going to protect all of your internet traffic. It's a great little portable size as well, and it can be powered with a power bank. So this is basically all you need to carry this summer when you're out and about. Never trust those free Wi-Fi networks. But another reason why you might want to pick up a travel router is sometimes hotels actually want to charge you for Wi-Fi. Sometimes they only give you an Ethernet jack in the room. Sometimes they limit how many devices you can connect to their free service before you have to pay for additional services. Sometimes they don't want you to use Netflix on your own. There's a whole bunch of reasons why you'd want to create your own network within a network. You guys let me know what you use a travel router for down in the comments below. Another reason you might want to use a travel router is if you're traveling around the world and you notice some places are actually blocking internet access. Some places block access to Gmail, some places block access to Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. Only you know what kind of geo restrictions you are trying to get around. Well, having a travel router like the Aircove Go, you'll be able to just connect to a US server or connect to a European country server and get around those geo restrictions. So again, there's a lot of great use cases for a travel router. It really is an awesome idea, but the Aircove Go is quite possibly the easiest solution to set up. If you guys don't want to worry about configuration files and tinkering, this is a great product for you. All you need to do is enter your activation code from ExpressVPN. Super easy to configure, and it gives you really fast speeds as well. There's a 30-day trial that they're giving you, so check my link down below if you want to just try out ExpressVPN for 30 days. Now this router specifically, again, is for ExpressVPN, so it's not going to work with any other service. It works with captive portals, so if you're out and about, it does work with those captive portals. And it's just a great little travel buddy to have. It's just a great little router to have. Antennas fold up just like that. Throw it in your bag and have a nice day. But let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to set it up. We're going to run some speed tests. Did I mention this is fast? This definitely is a fast router. Let's head over to the computer, show you how to set it up, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the Aircove Go. Let's go ahead and unbox the Aircove Go and see what we get inside from this Wi-Fi 6 travel router from ExpressVPN. Again, if you don't yet have ExpressVPN, check my link down below. You can get 30 days of a free trial, and it's just a nice router that's already configured. You don't have to worry about any configuration scripts. You don't have to worry about any complicated setup. This is basically going to be a really nice plug-and-play solution. So inside the box you get usual manuals and stuff. Very easy to set up for the first time. All you have to do is scan the back of the router. So for those of you that need to read it, you got a nice little booklet right on the inside here. And I like that the Aircove Go actually comes with its nice little carry pouch. Definitely a nice feature, something I welcome on a lot of other products. And being a travel router, you'd want multiple different ways that you can connect this, no matter which country you're in. This is going to be your travel buddy. This is going to be the way that you're going to connect to all of those open networks, all of those free networks, and really protect yourself from anyone trying to steal your information. Here's a USB-C, so you can power this with a USB-C cable and a power bank capable of charging it up. I'll leave some recommendations down in my description. And you also have 3 gigabit ports on the back, 2 LAN and 1 WAN right over there. And on the side, you have your little power button right there as well. So a really nice travel router, very portable as well. Now the first time you do configure the router, just go ahead and scan the QR code on the back, and that's going to connect your phone to the Wi-Fi signal. So I have my little phone right here, and I'm just going to scan the QR code on the back, just like that. And now my phone is going to connect to the Aircove 467. Super easy to do, guys. I got to give ExpressVPN their flowers because they made it super simple. So even if you're not a techie, even if you've never set up a router before, as long as you know your way around the browser, you're going to be able to set this up in minutes. Once you're logged in, go to a browser, whether that's on a phone, a tablet, a PC, anything like that. Type in expressvpnrouter.com. Click on enter, and that's going to bring you to the startup page very easily. So now let's just go ahead and set this up together. Now you can connect to a wireless network to do the initial setup as well. So just click on get started, and it's going to detect an internet connection. But if this is your first time connecting and you're out in the middle of the ocean, you probably don't have an internet connection. So I'm just going to click on skip and then enter in a new admin password. Let's click on continue. And now once we've done that, you can see that it says no VPN at the moment. So what we need to do is give this little guy some internet access. Click on network settings, then click on internet access. Now, if you do have an Ethernet cable that you've plugged into the back, it's going to recognize it, and you'll probably be set up faster than connecting to a wireless network. But since we're working with a wireless network initially, click on Wi-Fi link, and the Aircove is going to scan for available networks to connect to. Now that we've found the available Wi-Fi networks, let me just go into my network and enter in the password. Now that we have internet access, we need to set up our VPN account. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the easiest VPN router you're going to be able to sign up. This does have ExpressVPN baked in. It is an ExpressVPN router. And the benefit of this is no configuration files, no messy OpenVPN or WireGuard files to download passwords, this and that. All you need to do is either click on the try for free 30 days, or if you already have an account, enter in your activation code. I already do have an ExpressVPN account, and they're going to email you your ExpressVPN activation code. So all you need to do is click on Set up ExpressVPN, and that's going to take you to the activation code that you'll copy and then put it back into the Aircove Go. So let's just go ahead and do that. Click on Sign into ExpressVPN, and that's basically it. Again, guys, this is super simple. Copy paste, that's all you need to do, and you don't have to worry about a ting. But let's go back to the dashboard, and right away we get a little pop-up that says we're all set, and you can kind of just go through and see what you need to see here if you wanted to remind yourself of what your settings are. Now that we've already logged into my VPN, now it says no VPN, so let's just go ahead and change that really quickly. I think I'm going to let's go to the United Kingdom. Let's just kind of put myself in the United Kingdom, and you can see that it changed right there. I am connected, and you can't tell me there's a faster way to connect to a VPN service than this. Again, super plug and play, very easy. So here we go, we're in the UK right here. Now what I like about the Aircove Go is that we can also select up to 5 different groups. So right now I've set up 3 different groups, and you can have 5 groups that you can create and give different options to. We'll get into the options as well in just a little bit. But within these 3 groups that I have here, or within the 5 that you set up, you can set them up to have different locations. So let me just go to Canada for one. So we can set up the individual group that I've created right here as home and have all these devices connected to the Canadian server. I also have Office, which is also on a Canadian server. So if I wanted to change that and go to New Jersey, every device that I have connected to the Office group is going to go to New Jersey. And I think it's just a great way to kind of separate maybe your streaming devices from maybe your game consoles, or just separate work devices from other devices. And it's really easy to just drag and drop your devices to whatever group you want it to go to. What I like about this is, again, it's very easy. So any of your new devices are going to connect to your default group, which is your first one. And again, I just want to show you this. I think it's really cool to just drag and drop them over to whatever group you need. So I'm going to show you now. I'm going to connect a new device. Let's go ahead and connect to my Aircove Go here. And I'm going to connect to the new device. It should pop up right in this default location. So here it is, Jabber's S Magic. Right over here, again, a nice layout. And if I wanted my Magic to go over to New Jersey, let's actually change this one and maybe go to the United Kingdom. Again, very easy. And what you noticed is that even though I disconnected these devices in my play group to give them a different location, the other 2 groups remain connected. So I really like this. I think it's nicely done from ExpressVPN. And overall, I think the idea of having groups is great, because if you wanted a certain group not to even connect to a VPN, let's say you just wanted to have a straight through connection to your laptop as you do work, you could go ahead and do that. I actually like this feature. I'm going to talk to you more about this feature in just a little bit. When it comes to specific clients, unlike some other routers out there that give you a lot of different options when it comes to your client settings, this only has a couple. And I think it's intended to go along with that simplicity. It's intended to go along with just having a nice experience, very easy to set this up. If I click on JabberBeast, I can change the device name. I can also change the IP address. Now, when your devices are in the default group, you can assign different IP addresses, but the moment you switch them over to a different group, it's gonna give it a static IP. Again, this way the router knows that, hey, when my Pixel 8 Pro connects, I always want it to go to New Jersey. I always want it to be part of that Office group. But you can see you have different options here. So if I click on Child Safe, again, 9 to 8 a.m. I don't want them to have access. I could just do that. Now, unlike some other travel routers out there, there's no separated guest SSID. So the best way to separate you from them is kind of to create a guest network group right here. And you can configure the devices to work for the group network. Again, if you're traveling with friends, you're not really too concerned about the internet and sharing internet with them or whatnot. But a way around that is always to just create a guest group, and you could do that. When it comes to groups, I like this feature. I think this is really awesome. I think the group option, the group setting, the group layout in general is very, very nicely done. A super cool way to kind of keep things simple. And I love the drag and dropness. Yes, I said drag and dropness. I love the ability to just go ahead and drag different devices over to different groups. Something super cool. I hope a lot more people copy this. Now, let's say in my office, I don't want them to connect to a VPN. Let's just say that I really don't need a VPN setting here. All I have to do is click on other options, and I can choose the no VPN setting, and you can see that kind of grayed out. So my S24 Ultra is now going directly to my ISP. It's going directly to the internet without any VPN connection. So I like this, and it can come in handy for a lot of different reasons. If you wanted to say no internet, you could go ahead and say these devices are not going to get any internet. Perfect if you just want that LAN-to-LAN connection. And you can also set it up as a media streamer. So if you really wanted to get the most out of your streaming experience, perfect if you're on those slower networks at the hotels or cafes or whatever. Clicking on media streamer is going to ensure that you get a little bit better of a connection when it comes to those 4K streaming sites. Under network settings, this is where you can change the SSID, and I like the ability to separate the 2.4 from the 5 gigahertz channels. It depends what kind of devices you have, but I always like to see this ability. Mostly these days, you don't have to separate it. It's something you don't have to do. But if you have any older devices, sometimes they don't like that mixture. They don't like that dual band setup. And you also do have some advanced features down here that you really don't have to worry about. If you don't need to change this, don't change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You also do have port forwarding, and as you see up top here, port forwards are not protected by the VPN. So this is something you'd have to do if you had to do it. If you don't really have to set up any port forwards, usually travel routers, you might not have to set it up unless you're connecting to some sort of server for work or whatnot. You might have to set up a port forward, but mostly it's not something that most people have to do. There is also a dynamic DNS setting. If you wanted to go ahead and use one of these services, you could do that right here. Now, clicking on VPN protocol, this is where you can choose the protocol that you want. And we have automatic, so it's going to pick the fastest server appropriate for whatever location you're at. Here's Lightway. Now, Lightway is their own kind of next generation protocol. I'm basically going to say it's kind of like WireGuard. They're calling it Lightway. And it's a very fast service. I'm going to go through different speed tests with these as well. And of course, there is OpenVPN right over here. Let's go ahead and do a speed test and see what kind of connection we get to the UK. So right now, you see I am in London. Let's go ahead and do a quick little speed test and see what the speeds are over in good old London. I do not know what protocol this is using. I'm going to go into the settings there and switch it over to their Lightway setting and switch it over to OpenVPN as well. Again, I have it set up to use the fastest possible connection. And as a VPN connection goes, it's actually not too bad, not too shabby. 121 down, and it looks like 90 up. Before we check out the different protocols and whatnot, let me just go ahead and switch over JabberBeast over to New Jersey. So right now we're switched over to New Jersey, which is a little bit closer to me. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of a refresh now that we're in New Jersey. And yep, we've already switched our IP address. We're already using a New York server. And let's switch over to the Spectrum speed test. And as you can see, the ad blocker is working really well. If you go to speedtest.net on your computer without an ad blocker, you're going to see all of these ads around here. And more ads means a slower internet experience, believe it or not. So blocking ads is actually going to speed up your internet browsing experience and make you a much happier camper as well. At least I know I'm much happier when my speeds are faster. So let's see the New Jersey server. Seems that it's going to be about the same in New Jersey. Yep, still about 126. Let's let it run that upload test just to kind of see. And then I'm going to disable the VPN altogether so we can see what my speeds are without a VPN connection. Should be pretty high, just as a little bit of a spoiler. So these speeds are really good though. If you're traveling around, 130 is really good. Now I personally have not seen super fast Wi-Fi in hotels or in the coffee shop unless it's early morning and nobody's around, nobody's using the internet. So 130 is very respectable for a bunch of devices connected to the Aircove. All of them are going to have a nice browsing experience. So I did mention we're going to switch the protocol. Let's go ahead and click on VPN preferences, and I'm going to select Lightway. Click on Save. And now we need to go back to the dashboard here, and then I'm going to choose, let's stay in the UK just for fun, and put my Jabber Beast right back over here. Now I've reconnected to the UK, and I should be using the Lightway protocol. Let's go back to speedtest.net, and you can see Clovidier, I'm in the UK. Let's go ahead and do a little speed test and see if our speeds are a little bit faster with Lightway. But I personally feel 130, 120 on a travel router is really good, no matter which protocol it's using. But let's just go ahead and see if we get something a little bit faster. And we're still about the 110. Let's see what it ends out. It's still about the 120 range. So that's still very respectable. So again, the router is configured out of the box to choose the fastest server available to give you the best possible experience. And there's no need to wait for this. It's going to end out still at about 100 for the upload. But let's go back to VPN preferences and click on Lightway TCP just to kind of change it. Let's click on Save, and you can see it changes will affect next time I connect to the VPN. So what I'm going to do now is disconnect from New Jersey, drag over Jabber Beast back to New Jersey, and click on Connect, and this should be the Lightway TCP protocol right here. Now we need to go back to speedtest.net and do a little bit of a refresh and see if we're back in New York, and we're going to choose Spectrum once again. This is a very fast custom firmware, guys. Custom interface, and most of the times custom interfaces aren't really that good, but I like this custom interface. I think this is something really cool. Now, speaking of cool, the speeds have gotten a lot faster right now using Lightway TCP in New Jersey. You can see I'm at 156 right now. So what did we get? About 27 megabits down faster. The upload is still about that 100. So definitely really fast, guys. 157. Very happy with these speeds. Now let's just go back one more time. Let me just click on disconnect in New Jersey, and let's just check out the OpenVPN protocol. I'm not going to try both of these. Let's just click on the TCP OpenVPN protocol, connect back to New Jersey, and now we're connected again, very fast. Meanwhile, these two, for example, will stay connected if you're playing around with the third group. They don't disconnect at all. So let me show you that again. If I click on disconnected, I'm still connected on these other two groups. I think that's really awesome. You don't have to interrupt anyone streaming. You don't have to interrupt anything on these other groups. So very nicely done from Aircove and ExpressVPN. Now, OpenVPN should be a lot slower. Now, let's just see if my words are true or not. Usually OpenVPN is a lot slower. And yes, oh no, I can take that back. We're still getting some very respectable OpenVPN speeds. ExpressVPN, you're living up to your name. You are definitely on that express lane highway. You're definitely giving us a lot of fast connections. So if you don't yet have a VPN service either, ExpressVPN is looking to be a really nice option. Now you can see with OpenVPN though, my upload is a lot slower. And these days, upload is just as important as download, at least for my applications, at least for what I do. So to end out the VPN preferences, I would just leave it on automatic. It's doing a really nice job of picking the fastest server. And if you just want to always use Lightway, you do have the options right here. Again, OpenVPN is usually a little bit on the slower side, so unless you really have to use it for some scenario, I would leave it on automatic or Lightway. Now I usually always turn that setting off. That's just me. So I did a speed test over VPN. Now let's just go ahead and click no VPN for Jabber Beast and kind of just see what my speeds are with a straight through connection. Let's just go ahead and do a little bit of a refresh here. So this is just going to kind of give us a base of what my speeds are. Now always when you use a travel router and you're repeating the network or you're using a VPN, you do get a little bit of a slower speed as it's a lot of stress going on that CPU there. But as you can see, a straight through connection with the Aircove, I'm getting some very respectable speeds, and this is usually what my speeds are going to be, around that 750 mark, 800. So it's definitely climbing up there to that 800 mark. So without the VPN connection, you can see that the Aircove does a really nice job of just being a straight through router, a very fast router at that. Again, over Wi-Fi 6, you're going to get 1200 megabits down or 1.2 gigabit a second. So it's a very fast router, no matter how you're using it in the travel scenario or in the office scenario. So there we go, guys. That's my base speed test. Now we just need to kind of check the range and we need to check the speed over Wi-Fi. Now to do that and to keep it fair to the router, I'm going to use Wi-Fi 6 devices. My laptop sadly does not have Wi-Fi 6, but all of my mobile devices do. So let's go ahead and switch over to a mobile device, do a Wi-Fi speed test, do a range test, and I'm giving my final thoughts on the ExpressVPN Aircove Go. Now let's finally do a range and Wi-Fi speed test when you're repeating in a wireless network. So I have the Aircove Go connected to my T-Mobile gateway, and let's just go ahead and do a base speed test and see what our speeds are. So it's about 950. Drop just a little bit, 870, and let's go ahead. You can see my ping is 18 and my upload speed is about 120. So it's about 120. Just go ahead and do a refresh, make sure it wasn't a fluke. So there we go. We can safely just say about, well, definitely jumped up to that gig speed, 980. So that's going to be our base speed, and my upload should still be about the 120, 140 mark. Let's just kind of see here. Upload's a little bit slow today at 100. So again, this is going to be our base test. Now I just need to switch my Wi-Fi network to the Aircove Go right there, and I've already connected it to my T-Mobile gateway. Let's just click on the Go right there, and if we go into the settings, let's just take a look at our settings here. So I have my tablet set up for no VPN. This is going to be a straight repeater mode without the VPN. Let's go back to fast.com, do a little bit of a refresh. So as always, you do lose a bit of speed when you repeat a network, but still 360 is really good if you're repeating a network on the go and you're trying to get work or play done. You can definitely do a lot with that speed. So it's still about that 340. Let's check out my upload. 21, pretty good with that ping. There's my upload. It's still at that 100 mark. So very, very nicely done. Now let's switch on the VPN just to kind of do a little bit of a test with the VPN settings from ExpressVPN. Again, check my link down below if you don't have a VPN service. Now we'll go back to fast.com, do a little bit of a refresh. So as you can see, speeds even with the VPN connection is about 110, and when we were connected to the wired connection down in the office, it still was only about that 120. So I am very pleased with this. I'm very happy to see an almost one-to-one speed comparison between a wire. Of course, we're talking about the wireless VPN speeds. Between the wire and the wireless speed, 110. Upload about 36. Now the straight through connection again is still pretty good. I'm very happy with that 300 mark. Let's just take a look at this one more time. So yep, we're probably maxing out their connection, the ExpressVPN connection, at about 110. So I'm really happy with the relay speeds. I'm very happy with the VPN speeds. Now how about the range speed? So let's go ahead and test that out. And for this test, I'm going to disconnect from my VPN service. Let's go ahead and do one more refresh since we're pretty close. See if we're still in that 340 range. So yep, we're still about that 340 range. Now let's just go for a little walk, guys. We're going to go about 30 feet away, and then we're going to do another speed test. So we're walking here. I'm walking here. Hey, I'm walking here, huh? Let's go ahead and do a refresh. Now we're about 30 feet away, guys. Again, Wi-Fi 6 is the name of the game. So at 30 feet, I'm getting 240. Still a very, very respectable speed when it comes to repeating a network. 180, 190. So we're still getting some very fast speeds. Now with a travel router, it's always best to stay as close as possible. That's where you're going to get the most range. But I've seen this router go about 50, 60 feet and still have a decent connection. Speaking of which, let's go another 10 feet. So we're gonna make this about a 40 foot connection right now. And I'm by the window. So let's just go ahead and do a little bit of a speed test here. And I still have pretty decent signal. And there we go, about 40 feet away, maybe even 50 feet away, 71. So I'm still getting some decent speeds. I can still get work done. I can still watch that 4K movie. Very, very nicely done. So that's really it when it comes to the Aircove Go, guys. I mean, this is a really fast router with or without a VPN service. You can't go wrong with the speeds. The range is really good as well. So if you're looking for a travel buddy, a travel companion this summer that's going to keep you safe and secure, definitely check out the Aircove Go. Really appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you in another video.